It was the Shapeless that broke your arm. Compound fracture, jagged bone tearing through your skin from the force of the bludgeon. The culprit and its fellows surround you in a pool of blood and twice-twisted flesh. First by the Shapeless into staggering monsters with knee joints fused together or bent into quadrupedal build or with eye stalks growing out in a mass out of their shoulders and back like a sea anemone, or, in one notable case, with the end of one arm fused together into a mass of calluses and bone that can slam into a human victim so hard, the bone won't just shatter, the fragments will tear through the surrounding flesh from the force of the impact. And then twisted again by all the scatter pellets you blasted through them. Not quite fast enough, it turns out. They gurgle their last breaths while twitching on the floor, and you lie next to them with rattling breaths of your own. It was the Shapeless that will fix you. You couldn't afford the good potions, accredited by the Alchemist Guild to be safe, stabilized ether of the Shapeless, the kind that get sent to school and taught how to read your RNA and put you back together the way you were built in the first place. That's why you hesitate, the potion at your lips, looking at the beady eyes staring at you from the plated stomach of the crony next to you. Its skin has thickened into rigid plates which cracked and tore with every movement, drawing moans and whimpers of pain even as it thrashed blindly towards you. Human skin warped into armor plates like that doesn't overlap, doesn't have joints. Every time it moved, its bulging muscles strained to rip its own skin apart at the joints, oozing blood from the wounds. That's what can happen when you just shove shapeless ether into yourself and hope for the best. The back alley apothecary your broke-ass bought potions from wasn't selling a gruesome form of suicide. He swore up and down the pots were stabilized. You just don't know if he was telling the truth. But a jet of blood sprays from your ruined arm with every heartbeat. The shape you're in right now is the shape of imminent death. You drink the potion and hope it's not already too late. Drinkable potions take time to kick in, have to hit the bloodstream. Injected potions work faster, but a delivery system that's both rugged and precise costs money you don't have. The Shapeless makes its way through the system pretty quickly anyway. You can already feel it wriggling down your throat like a squid's tentacle, and then into your veins, through your body, crawling under your skin. New flesh bubbles up through the wounds on your arm. You can't suppress a scream of pain as the shattered bone fragments are pushed out through your flesh, but the wounds are quickly filled in by fresh-grown red muscle, then grown over again with skin. And again, and again, and again, bubbling flesh rolls over your arm in waves, huge cancerous bulges, and then thin tendrils extruded whipping through the air, frenzied as you panic at the new sensations of tiny, fresh-grown appendages. And then the boiling flesh spreads up your neck to your mouth, and your screams are suppressed as your tongue is flattened by flesh bubbling up through your mouth, the texture like fat and the taste like wax. The wriggling, crawling tendrils of the Shapeless pulse through your blood and into your brain, and you can feel it drilling through sections at random. Your good arm begins to spasm wildly as motor functions shut down. Your vision swims with kaleidoscopic patterns as some gland or lobe starts releasing chemicals in spasmic pulses, and your last coherent thought is that you know this bounty drew in others before you, and it will likely draw in others after you. And if you fling yourself at them with blade and powder, they will, with luck, release you from your new form. Release you from the Shapeless. Chaos Works Upon the Flesh deals with the Shapeless, the distortion entity of reshaping flesh, and if the shape you are in has fewer limbs than you'd like, you can use that power to fix the problem, whether that's because you want extras or because one of your legs has gone on walkabout. Shapeless ether naturally generates healing springs, but beware. Without the stabilization of alchemical processes, the Shapeless is dangerous. It's rolled with d6s instead of d4s plus 1, and on a 1, it can cause mutations as bad or worse than the injuries it heals. Mutations can be beneficial, but they're random, so don't count on it. What mutations always are is very difficult and expensive to reverse. Even stabilized Shapeless potions are dangerous if they run out of flesh to regenerate. All that excess occult power has to go somewhere, and if you have no more fingers to regrow, that power will start freestyling. You don't want to overheal with a Shapeless potion, not even a stabilized one. But you don't want to be too cautious either. The ether takes some time to hit the bloodstream. When you drink a Shapeless potion, it doesn't heal you immediately, stabilized or not. Instead, you get your healing at the start of your next turn. Drink near full health in anticipation of a major blow, and if that blow doesn't come, you risk overhealing. Wait too long to drink, and you risk hitting 0 HP while waiting for the potion to kick in, taking grievous injuries from the injury table. If you've read my books before, you probably know the injury table, and the survival horror version is just a little bit spicier, but it's the same idea. Roll 3d6 on the table. If you're very lucky, you may have just been knocked over or briefly stunned. If you're very unlucky, you may have been decapitated. But that bell curve being what it is, odds are you're suffering some extensive burns or lacerations in the middle. Injuries and mutations can both debilitate your character, so you want to thread the needle between them. A problem only magnified by new optional armor rules that reduce the size of each class's hit die and make up the difference with temporary HP granted by armor. The total amount of starting HP remains about the same, but depending on your constitution bonus, anywhere from a quarter to half of your HP might be temporary HP from armor, which can't be healed. You still have the same total healing, but with a smaller pool to dump it into, the gap between injury and mutation can get perilously narrow.